What's up, everybody? Thank you for stopping by. My name is Chance and this is Chance Brown Fishing. In today's video we are going to be doing a rod review from Denali Rods, but before we get into that review I have two quick things that I need to do and want to do. First one, I am a huge Buccaneers fan, and for those of you that know, about a month or so ago we played Philadelphia. My son's a huge Eagles fan, so we bet on that game and unfortunately the Eagles beat us. So I am here to make good on the bet that him and I made. So the first thing I want to do is hold up his Jalen Hurts jersey and say, "Fly, Eagles, fly." Good job, dude. Your team beat me, but they won't get us in the playoffs. I promise you that once we're healthy. The second thing I want to talk about is we actually have our first sponsor of this channel and our first sponsor for 2026. And I am so excited for this sponsor because it is a company that I have been using and supporting for the last 12 years. So they decided to hop on board and sponsor my fishing adventures for 2026 and sponsor this channel. And that company is Denali Rods. I've been using Denali Rods for about 12 years now. It was actually the first high-end rod I'd ever fished. That was the Jadewood series. I still have my J2 and Rosewood rods from way back in 2014. This past season, 2025, I actually broke the original Gen 1 Covert series that came out 10 years ago. So in my lineup now, I still, like I said, the J2 and the Rosewood. I've used their Jadewood series, that was before the J2, and I've used their Norwood series. So I had a lot of good success, and I really loved using the earlier rods from the mid 2010s, I guess we'll call it, when we got to talking about the channel sponsorship and joining them and helping them promote the brand. It was a no-brainer for me. I'm only going to work with brands that I already use and I love, because I want to be as authentic as I can with you guys. I don't want to put my channel out there and back a product or a company that I've never used and it not be good. I would never do that. I hope the few of you out here that do support the channel now and the thousands and hundreds of thousands that may join this channel later, may see this video, you will appreciate my open and honest reviews, my open and honest dialogue over the companies and the products and the brands that I do represent and back. Denali is one of them. But let's go ahead and jump right into this video. 97% of you are new viewers to this channel. I'm grateful that you're clicking on these videos and enjoying them. I really am. Thank you so much. If you haven't yet, please go ahead and give me that thumbs up and like the video. And also, if you could consider subscribing to the channel, it would mean the world to me. It helps me be motivated and continue to put these videos out for you guys on a weekly basis. Also, looking at my analytics, 57% of you are not subscribed to my channel. Why not? It's free. It's easy. Man, just hit that sub. Help a homie out. Thank you for watching. Now let's get back to the video. Today's video is going to be a rod review over the Denali Prime rod. So I have been using this rod for almost a year now, and I really enjoy it. So for those that don't know, this rod is actually marketed for a panfish crappie rod. So this one is their 7-foot medium extra fast dock rod, and I love this rod as my finesse do everything. So with this rod, I can throw drop shots, I can throw Ned rigs, I can throw weightless wacky, I can throw weightless Texas rig. Anything under 1/4 of an ounce, this will handle. It'll handle heavier stuff, but for me, if it's under 1/4 of an ounce, this is where this rod really shines. I have it paired with my Daiwa Regal with 15-pound Yozuri super braided yellow fishing line on there. I fish all my spinning gear with 15-pound braid and with high vis, and then just tie a leader to it. It helps me as I get older and not be able to see the line as much. So this rod does come with a split grip, exposed blank reel seat, or a skeleton reel seat as some call it, and then it has a wind grip type locking nut, and it has the words Denali Rods in there. I don't know if see there a little bit, I guess. There we go. It is a all black design. It says right there Denali Prime. I can get this to focus. And then it also has the Denali logo. So the one thing I really like about this rod is actually up here, and that is the guides. So they use Sea guides, and it is a ceramic coated guide, so there's no inserts, but it does have that ceramic coating, so you don't have to worry about any type of, there we go. So you don't have to worry about any type of braid or knot or anything like that ruining the insides of your guides, because it is ceramic coated. But you also don't have to worry about that insert popping out and having to replace the guide, because there is no insert. It's a really light rod. It balances well with this extremely light reel. For those that don't know, this is a sub 7 ounce reel. It only comes in at 6.9 ounces. One thing about this rod that made me fall in love with it when it comes to spinning is actually having the foregrip on the locking nut. I build rods. I've been building rods for about 6 years. Every rod I build, I incorporate the foregrip into my locking nut. But the reason I like it on this one is because if you are a young angler, if you're a new angler, or if you're just kind of stuck in your ways, typically what you do is you'll kind of do a V shape and put the reel right in the middle of your hand like that and hold it. Well, years ago, I watched a video with Aaron Martins, and he said he doesn't like doing that because it's hard for him to feel the vibrations or the sensitivity in the rod blank. And all of it is determined through the line. So what he does is he took it and he would put it between his ring and his pinky finger, or he would just completely hold it at the top so that he could take his pointer, stretch it out, and leave it on the blank. So he talked about this probably 6 years ago, 7 years ago, and it stuck with me ever since. Now for me, naturally, when I grab the reel, I will always put it between my ring and pinky, and that way I can extend my finger out and touch that reel blank, or that rod blank rather. With this reel seat and the way that this rod is designed, I can now, if I hold it my natural way between my ring and my pinky, I can now have my thumb on the rod blank or my pointer on the rod blank. And if for some reason my finger gets tired holding it straight out, it actually just naturally rests on the rod blank. And even when it's naturally resting, my finger is not touching the hook keeper there. I don't know if I can get it in there. Nope. But there's the drop shot style hook keeper there, and when I naturally just rest my finger at a slight bend, it's not touching it, so I don't have to worry about it rubbing or anything. So I no longer have to now fish with my finger extended out. I can just naturally rest it on the blank. And if you are one of these people that hold it in between your middle finger and your ring finger, if you do extend your finger out, boom, you're now touching the blank. So you are going to be able to feel every bite that you can. You're going to either feel it in the line, you're going to feel it in the rod blank. Super sensitive blank it is, as it is. Being able to have your finger on there, you're going to feel so much more when you're fishing, especially when you're fishing those finesse baits, because there's very, very, very subtle vibrations that run through the rod and that line, because the fish more inhale instead of biting. So being able to put your finger on that blank, whether you do it this way or you do it that way, you're going to feel everything. Another thing I want to point out is they use an epoxy ramp here. So you get the epoxy ramp that goes into the locking nut. Then you get about 1.5 to 2 inch gap here. And then you have the epoxy threading for the rod keeper. And what I like about that is if you build rods, or if you have extensive fishing knowledge, then you know the vibrations and the sensitivity that is at the top of the rod. As it's coming down the blank, the epoxy and the thread absorbs some of that vibrations. So this rod's most sensitive part is the tip. As it comes down, it gets less and less sensitive because of the fact the rod guides, the epoxy, and the thread work is taking and absorbing some of those vibrations. So with this rod, hold it the way I do, you can naturally put it right on the rod blank in between the two epoxies. So you are now eliminating any sensitivity that's getting absorbed through this reel nut. If you hold it completely up front without stabilizing the reel, you can then rest your finger naturally above both epoxies. So now you're getting even more sensitivity. So the way that this rod is designed, you can adjust your hand and your style of holding your reel to increase or decrease the sensitivity. Now, I will say from experience fishing this rod that whether you have your hand up here or in the middle, you're not going to feel much of a difference. There's not much absorption from here. There's some, you're not going to be able to tell. I can guarantee it. This rod is so sensitive that it does not matter. You will feel the bite. Get your finger somewhere on the blank and you will feel bites that you've never felt before if you've only been watching and feeling your line. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you learned something about Denali rods, and I hope you learned more of the basics of how a rod works, how sensitivity works, and where you can put your hand to better feel those hookups or better feel those bites. Hopefully, when you guys are in the market for a new rod, that you will give Denali rods a look. This is, again, their Prime series, marketed as a panfish crappie rod, but it is a fantastic, perfect finesse do everything rod. Soft tip, strong backbone, extra fast. All of your action is going to be right in that very top third of the rod. So quick hook sets. It'll keep the fish pinned. Check this out for your spinning reel needs. Oh, and before I leave, the Daiwa Regal, we are going to be doing a review on that in the next couple videos. So be on the lookout for my review of the Daiwa Regal. If you look online, everybody bashes this reel, and I don't know why. So if you want my thoughts and opinions, subscribe to the channel and keep a lookout for that review on here. I think it's actually a really good rod. But until next time, stay safe. If it's not frozen where you live, tight lines. If it is frozen where you live, stay warm. Get ready for ice fishing. I'll catch you in the next one. Deuces.